Day 374 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 2506, count pairs of similar strings. The difficulty level is easy, so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out the link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given a zero-index string array words. Two strings are similar if they consist of the same characters. For example, the string ABCA and CBA are similar since both consist of characters A, B, and C. However, ABA, CBA, and BCFD are not similar since they do not consist of the same characters. Return the number of pairs I and J such that 0 is less than or equal to I and I is less than J, and J is less than or equal to word.length minus 1, and the two strings words of I and words of J are similar. All right, y'all, so that sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just to make sure we're doing this problem correctly. If this is the first time at this channel, welcome. We've been doing about a week or so of hash table or dictionary problems. So if you need to brush up on your dictionary practice, go ahead and check out the last few days. I'm not sure what day we started, but this is at least the fourth or fifth day straight of doing dictionary and hash table problems. Now let's see what example 1 says. In example 1, we have the input words equals an array of strings, first string being ABA, second string being AABB, third string being ABCD, fourth string being BAC, and the last string being AABC. The output is 2 because explanation says there are two pairs that satisfy the conditions. One, where I equals 0 and J equals 1. Both words of 0 and words of 1 only consist of characters A and B, which is these two strings right here. This string right here and this string right here only consist of characters A and B, which makes it a similar string. And we want to count the similar strings, right? So that's one similar string. Then it says I equals 3 and J equals 4. Both words of 3 and words 4 only consist of characters A, B, and C. Those would be these two strings right here, right? So the first string has BAC, second string has AABC. They both consist of the characters A, B, and C, which makes them similar. As you can see, this string is left out, A, B, C, and D, because there are no other strings that have A, B, C, and D. These strings have A, B, and C. These strings have A and B. Neither one of them have D, right? So this is our one. These two are similar strings. That's one pair of similar strings. So we add the count of 1. Then this is our second pair of similar strings. So in the end, we have two pairs of similar strings. So our output is 2. Now, I hope that made sense to y'all, but let's go ahead and take a look at example 2 just to make sure we fully understand what's going on. So in example 2, we have the input words equals an array of strings A, A, B, B, second string being A, B, third string being B, A. This time the output is 3. It says there are 3 pairs that satisfy the condition. First pair is I equals 0 and J equals 1. Both words 0 and words 1 only consist of the characters A and B. So that is these two strings right here. As you can see, these two strings right here only consist of the characters A and B, right? So that's one pair. Then we have I equals 0 and J equals 2. Both words of 0 and words of 2 only consist of characters A and B. So that's this string and that's this string. As you can see in these two strings right here, they only consist of characters A and B, right? So that is a second pair, right? So we add 2 to our count. Boom. And last but certainly not least, I have 1 and J equals 2. I equals 1 and J equals 2. Both words 1 and words of 2 only consist of characters A and B. So finally, those are these two strings. These two strings also only consist of characters A, B, A, and B. So that's a third pair that we can create where the characters of where we have similar strings, right? And the characters only consist of A and B. So in this example, our output is 3 because we have 3 different pairs of similar strings. First pair being this right here, boom, those 2 strings. Second pair being this string and this string, boom. And the third pair being these 2 strings right here. In the end, we have 3 pairs. So the output is 3. So let's go ahead and take a look at example 3, where they might try to throw a trick question our way where there is no similar pairs. So in example 3, we have words equals an array of array of strings. First string being NBA, second string being CBA, and the third string being DBA. Now, as you can see, the output is 0. It says, explanation says, there does not exist any pair that satisfies the conditions, so we return 0. So as you can see, all of these strings, none of these strings, are similar. This string has an N, none of the other strings have an N, so that's not similar to any of the other strings. This string has a C, none of the other strings have a C, so it's not similar to any of the strings. And this string has a D, and none of the other strings have a D, so this string is not similar to any of the other strings as well, so we return 0 because we weren't able to create any pairs of similar strings in this final example of 3. So now that we understand the question, y'all, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Solution is not that difficult at all. Like I said earlier, we will be doing using hash maps and dictionaries to solve this problem. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create our dictionary that's going to map a set of characters to the number of times it has occurred. Because remember, the set will get rid of the duplicate characters for us because we're not worried about duplicates in this problem. We're just worried about which characters appears, and this will help us to easily see or reference those characters. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to declare a variable. We'll call it multi-set, and we'll set that equal to a dictionary of set. Then we'll do less than sign characters. So it's going to be a set of characters. Then put a greater than sign. Then we put a colon and an integer. Boom. So this is going to count how many times we see each set of characters. Then we'll put the parentheses outside of the square brackets to initialize it. Now we need to initialize the count of similar pairs. So for that, we can declare a variable. We call it answer, and we can set cast it as an integer and set it equal to 0 to start. And this is going to help us keep count of how many pairs we actually found, how many similar pairs we have found. Now we need to loop through each word in the input array. So we're going to say for word in words. We're going to open up the brackets. Then we need to convert the word into a set of characters, which is, once again, will help, which will remove the duplicates, and which will help us when we're just trying to see which string has which characters. So for that, we're going to say declare a variable. We call it word set, and we're going to set that equal to a set, open up the parentheses of word. Boom. Now we need to get the current count of how many times this character set has been seen before. So for that, we come right here and we can say let counter equal multi-set, open up the square brackets. We're going to pass in word set. Then we're going to say comma default colon 0, and boom. So now we need to add the number of previous matches to the answer. So for that, we're going to come right here. We're going to say answer plus equals counter. Then we're going to come underneath that, and we need to increment the count for this character set. So we're going to say multi-set square bracket word set, come outside of that, equals counter plus 1. Boom. And now we just need to return the total number of similar pairs, and for that we could just come right here and say return answer, just like that, y'all. And that should be all she wrote. Let's go ahead and give it a run. Make sure it runs properly before we submit it. Let's see, and it's accepted, y'all. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it stays accepted after we submit it. Let's see. Okay, 22 milliseconds beats 64.29% of users. not too bad. We're going to get those numbers up as we continue down our LeetCode journey. But right now, we just want to make sure we understand the basics and we're able to answer the problem that is presented to us. And I feel like this is a good, simple, and easy to understand solution for that, y'all. Because if you don't understand the solution, then you probably didn't learn anything and you won't be able to apply the knowledge to future LeetCode problems, right? So I think it's important to choose solutions that we understand so that we can use the knowledge that we've gained when we come across other problems, right? So with that being said, y'all, make sure you get one more look at the code, And yeah, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.